but part of conquering the world is having a rich and full life. Hi, my name's Devin. Today I own several multi-million-dollar companies. We started with $5,000 in a credit card. I don't know the easy way, I only know the hard way. Hey everyone, welcome to the Whiteboard Entrepreneur Podcast, where I give straightforward advice to fuel the entrepreneur in all of us. Today I want to talk to you about learning to make decisions based off the value of your time. And this is super important, specifically in business, and I'm going to talk about it towards the end, about your entire life and things that are not business or income related, but specifically about business. And this is very important because the more success that you begin to have, the more opportunities that will start to come your way. And so you will find, especially if you're entrepreneurial or you're like me, that you're probably going to like just about all the ideas. You're probably going to like just about all of the opportunities, and you're going to want to capture and do each of them because it's exciting. Like business can be fun. Business can be exciting. Challenges are exciting, right? But what I've learned is that sometimes the juice isn't worth the squeeze. And what do I mean by that? It means that, you can have a really great business idea, and that business could ultimately be successful, but at what cost of time, right? Because you need to begin to calculate what your time is worth to you as you begin to have more and more opportunities. And this is very important, right? And I have a lot of folks that talk to me about this because they're like, hey, Devin, I've got this really successful business and it's in, this industry over here. But I'm thinking about investing in real estate and doing some, buying a bunch of real estate and developing that. And oh, by the way, my buddy over here wants me to become a partner in this other company. And it becomes, it can be somewhat dilutive, right? Because there's only 24 hours in the day. And we often think, oh, yeah, I'm just going to invest in real estate. It's easy, right? You buy some land, you buy whatever, you slap a building up. You don't think about everything that goes into it, right? You don't think about all the labor and the time with the city and, that you don't hit the time frames and the stress with the bank and, getting a tenant in there and all of this stuff. And now once you have a tenant, now you got to collect the rent and manage it. And then you have CAMs you got to calculate out and interest and taxes. And all of a sudden you realize, oh, crap, this is actually a full-time job just like this. And oh, wait, my other buddy's opportunity that he wanted me to invest in and do this project with him, that's just his time back. That's just as much of a time suck as this. And so all of a sudden you're diluting your time across these different projects. And one of these projects, you might start doing the math on going, hey, it makes money, but not nearly to the extent that this other project does. So it's not like you wouldn't say that this is successful or that successful. And people ask me all the time, they're like, Devin, what do you think about my idea? I'm like, I think that idea is great. I think it can make money. But is it enough money for your time? Is it enough money for the distraction, the headache, the anxiety, the stress? I don't know. Only you can answer that. And the way that you need to answer that is by thinking that through, right? You need to think today about the time that you have available. And think if you took that extra time that you're going to invest in this new project and invested it on your currently wildly successful project. Or think about, what if I took that time and actually took a vacation? What if I took that time and, took Friday afternoons off? How much would that be worth to me? And so I'm a little weird this way, but I actually had to get super disciplined, right? So I got out a calculator. I figured out basically what I make a year. And I figure out, kind of where I want to be and what, any project that I'm going to do, what I want it to be worth for me versus what my time is already worth. And I'm like, if I'm going to do a new project, I want it to at least be worth my time today, probably more if I'm going to undertake something new. And so I started to calculate out, what is it worth for me? What is it worth if I took an entire day and flew to Chicago and spoke? What would it be worth to me if I undertook a new project, but I knew that it was going to be a full day a week? What would I have to make in order for that to be worth my time? In order for the juice to be worth the squeeze? And so I started thinking about that. And like I spent actually a couple hours doing this and thinking about this, because I also threw in the idea of a vacation, right? Like, what is your time worth if you took Friday afternoons off? Or what if you decided to coach? And this is the second side of where I'm going here, right? There are things in your life that you're not going to make money on, but are probably worth more than money. Coaching to me, actually costs me money, and that's okay. It's such a gift. I'm so blessed to be able to do that. But there are things in your life like that, like your family, right? Like going to your kids' games or watching their piano recital or taking how crazy is this? Taking a month-long vacation with them, doing things that you will not be able to do if you take these other projects on, and being able to layer that into your calculation and your decision-making. And I know it's difficult to do because we want to do everything. You're ambitious, you have dreams, you have goals, you want to conquer the world. That's wonderful. I'm not trying to quench that. But part of conquering the world is having a rich and full life. And so there are things that you're going to want. Like, you're going to want to take one day off a week where you don't work. I've been personally working on that. I've been trying to discipline to observe in my life a Sabbath every single week where I take a day off and I don't work. And even as I tell you that, some of you are getting dizzy, like, oh, can't even fathom, because that's how I am. I can't even fathom. How does Chick-fil-A do it? I don't know. I'm working on that, right? But I want to have that Chick-fil-A kind of mentality where, like, no matter what, I take this time off. And so what is this worth to you? What could you grow in your own life? What have you been sacrificing and that you wanted to do? Maybe you should be actually, instead of taking on another project, maybe you should be giving up some responsibilities. I'll tell you, for me, I'm really glad that I did. I didn't start coaching until I was 40. I'd had it in my heart since I was in college. I always wanted to coach at high school. I couldn't do it. I didn't have the time. I wouldn't even allow myself to consider it. And then all of a sudden I had the time to do it, and I started doing it. And I don't ever want something to be able to take that away from me. And some of these projects would take that away from me. Some of you all volunteer. Some of you all work at Sunday school. Some of you all are on the board of a nonprofit. Some of you all do all kinds of stuff. Some of you like to golf on Saturday afternoon or Saturday morning, and that's okay. Like, preserve that time, protect your time. And so when you make your decisions, you have to know what you're giving up in order to what you do. I have a friend of mine that has done so many of these different ideas, and he has spread so thin that none of the businesses are doing what they ought to do. If he got rid of, he's got like 4 of them. If he got rid of 3 of them and focused on one of them, that one would probably make twice as much as all 4. And he would be way less crazy. And he would also have the time to do what he wants to do in his life for his family, in his free time, and giving back to the world. Preserve your time. Understand the value. Now, here's the thing. If you're listening to this going, oh, Devin just told me to take a day off. Oh, Devin told me I need to cut out and go golfing at 12 on Friday. And you're young and you're just getting started. I'm not talking to you, buddy. I'm not talking to you. You need to work your butt off. You know what your time's worth? It's worth nothing, right? It's worth minimum wage, because until you start making more and until your time is worth something, you need to work. So this is not for you. This is for the people who have put the work in. This is for the people who have built something, and now all of a sudden they have more opportunities than they know what to do with. This is for you. I'm Devin. This is Whiteboard Entrepreneur Podcast. Apply these principles to your life. It will help free up your time. It will help in your decision making today.